Effie came begging Essie for some financial assistance as the business she had started faced major problems and she needed financial aid to help her out. Essie, who had just finished telling her friend that her husband had sent her a huge amount of money she did not need, told Effie she did not have any money. Effie reminded her of what she just shared, but Essie claimed she had used the money for something else. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Belu, there lived a woman named Essie. Essie was a lady living with her sick mother in the village. Essie lost her father when she was young. Her father was a renowned farmer and they were very wealthy. They were so blessed that Essie lacked nothing. A few years later, she lost her father and her uncles made away with all her father's properties, leaving them to fend for themselves. Essie's mother did not have it easy at all, as she managed to train her daughter until she finished secondary school, but could not send her to higher education because she fell seriously ill. Essie had to start taking care of her mother. Essie took over her mother's petty trade to bring food home and provide the money needed to buy her drugs. Things were the same for her mother, as there was no improvement, and days turned into years and her mother passed away. Before she died, she prayed and blessed her daughter and told her, "One thing you should learn in life is never to bite the finger that once fed you, and with that you will surely go far in life." Essie promised her mother she wouldn't, and her mother gave up the ghost. Essie cried like never before as she had been left in this lonely, wicked world. Soon, her mother was buried after people had come for their condolence visits. A lady named Effie came visiting, and Essie instantly remembered her as her classmate who was very close to her in school. Effie came to sympathize with Essie, having heard all that happened to her. After Essie narrated all her plights to Effie, Effie decided to take her to the city so she could further her education. Essie was overjoyed and happy and couldn't wait to see what life had in store for her. A month after the burial, she got prepared for what was ahead of her, packed up and left with Effie to the city. Upon arriving, Essie noticed that their lifestyle was much different from what she was used to. She watched their dressing and saw that their way of life was very different from what she knew. Effie told her that she knew everything was too much for her to comprehend and understand, but in due time she would catch up. Essie was mesmerized by all she was seeing and could not believe her eyes. She managed to sleep as she could not remember the last time she slept on a good bed. The next day, she got up very early, ensured the house was neat, and made breakfast for her friend. Effie was happy with Essie's gesture towards her and told her she should not have done that, but it was the least Essie could do. Essie was soon registered and started going to school. She took her studies seriously and wanted to make the most of the opportunity, knowing she might not get another chance. In her second year, Effie introduced Essie to a friend of her boyfriend. His name was Peter, and Peter and Essie hit it off so well that it wasn't long before they started wedding preparations. Effie was so happy for her, believing her story was about to change for the better. Soon after, Essie got married and things took a great turn in her life. Her husband provided her with everything she ever wanted and she lacked nothing. She started feeling on top of the world and refused to finish her schooling. Even though she had only one semester left, she ignored both her husband and Effie's pleas, saying that God has remembered her. So why should she stress herself to go through school when she wouldn't need to work? She wouldn't need to look for a job. Her husband provided all she needed and more, so she saw no need for all the stress. All their talks fell on deaf ears and she lived a carefree life. Some years passed and one day, Effie came begging Essie for some financial assistance as the business she had started faced major problems and she needed financial aid to help her out. Essie, who had just finished telling her friend that her husband had sent her a huge amount of money she did not need, told Effie she did not have any money. Effie reminded her of what she just shared, but Essie claimed she had used the money for something else and didn't know how she could help. Effie was shocked and reminded her friend that she would pay her back, stressing the urgency of the matter. Essie only said she would ask her husband. Effie lit up with a smile, thanking her friend, but Essie decided she would stop seeing Effie for now. She wondered why Effie, her own friend, would be begging for money, suspecting Essie wanted money as a payoff for introducing Peter to her, as she never failed to mention it. One day, Peter came home asking his wife why she hadn't told him about Effie's financial issues. Essie made excuses, saying she didn't want to trouble him. Peter, however, gave her some money to help Effie, and Essie lit up a smile, thanking him. Peter told her to give it to Effie as she really needed the money. Essie's face changed too soon, and her husband asked if everything was alright. She said she was okay, thanked him and left for her room. Months passed and one day, Peter and Essie went out and saw Effie on the street looking depressed. Effie said hello and wanted to leave immediately, but Peter stopped her and asked if the money he had given wasn't enough. Essie jumped in, asking where Effie had been and claimed she has been trying to reach her. Effie responded saying she had been trying to reach Essie, who had been avoiding her. Peter asked what was going on,
and Essie explained she hadn't seen Effie
to give her the money. Peter then asked his wife why she hadn't told him anything. Effie begged to take her leave, but Peter insisted she accompany them home. Essie wasn't happy with this, but acted cool. She served them some refreshments while they discussed Effie's situation. Effie narrated how she had to close down her business, sell all her items, and was now job hunting but couldn't find any work. Peter apologized to Effie, who said it wasn't his fault as he obviously didn't know anything. Essie told her friend she was sorry she hadn't reached out, claiming she had been very busy. Effie did not reply. Peter asked Effie where she was headed, as she said she had just come from a company that had turned her down. Peter asked her to leave her CV with him, promising to see what he could do to help her get a job. Effie thanked him and took her leave, ignoring Essie's attempt to talk to her. After Effie left, Peter was very angry with Essie, calling her a useless, wicked woman. He accused her of contributing nothing to the home and only spending his money while failing to help her friend who had introduced them. He also mentioned her not giving him children, warning her that if such behavior continued, she would face the consequences. She kept apologizing, but her husband wasn't having it. The next day, Peter wanted to leave for work but couldn't find Effie's CV. He asked his wife, who denied knowing anything about it. He was upset, feeling he was about to let Effie down again and had no means of reaching her. 2 weeks later, he asked if Effie had come by, and Essie said she hadn't seen her. He wondered when he would see her, as a job awaited her. A week later, Essie noticed a great change in her husband. He started keeping late nights and stopped eating her food. Suddenly, he stopped bringing money home, giving her one excuse or the other. When she started complaining, he told her to get a job. It became so bad that she soon became a shadow of herself, living in a mansion but couldn't eat. She noticed her husband's love was gone. She had to start selling off her belongings one after the other to maintain her lifestyle, but she couldn't keep up. She soon went into the streets to look for a job, but due to her inexperience and unfinished schooling, she found it very difficult to get one. She started borrowing money but couldn't pay back, facing constant embarrassment. Reflecting on her situation, she remembered her mother's last word, "Never bite the fingers that once fed you." Whenever she saw her husband, she would apologize, but he wasn't having it. One day, he came home with Effie, smiling. He asked Essie to serve them with something, but she said there was no food in the house. She watched them chatting happily, noticed how well Effie looked. Peter announced that Effie would be his wife soon, and that he would return Essie's bride price to her people. Essie went on her knees, begging her husband and pleading with Effie not to do this to her. Effie asked why Essie had been so wicked to her, narrating how she had come a week after leaving her CV, only for Essie to lie about it. Effie asked what she had ever done to deserve such treatment, questioning Essie's wickedness when all she had shown was love. She told Essie that she was here to stay, and that when she was ready, she could pack her bags and return to her deserted hut. Effie then asked Peter to take her to the room to freshen up and rest. Peter took her and left for the master's bedroom. It was then Essie realized the gravity of her actions. She was heartbroken, left with so many thoughts, and fainted. She opened her eyes to find herself in the clinic with Peter and Effie by her side. Peter had a worried look on his face. She asked if she was dying, saying she deserved it, and gave them her blessing. Asking them to leave, she promised to pack her bags and leave the next day, asking for forgiveness. Turning to Effie, she acknowledged Effie deserved everything good, as she has been nothing but a lifesaver. She admitted to competing secretly with Effie and felt stupid. Peter reassured her, saying she wasn't dying. Confused, she asked what was going on. Peter narrated that 2 days after Effie left, that he couldn't find the CV. He knew Essie had a hand in it and became very upset. But God's will, he ran into Effie again as she told him about Essie's lies. Peter promised to teach Essie a lesson, hoping she would realize what it felt like to be in a helpless position and learn the value of money. She asked if they had fallen in love, and Peter replied saying no, explaining it was a plan to make her feel hurt as her friend had felt. He apologized for letting it get so far, revealing that they almost put their baby at risk. Surprised, Essie asked, "Baby?" Peter confirmed she was a few months pregnant. She realized her stress had prevented her from knowing. Essie turned to Effie, apologizing for her words, and they hugged and made up. Peter and Essie also reconciled, rejoicing over their expected child. Essie promised to go back to school and complete her studies after giving birth, and Peter agreed. They all rejoiced and laughed, with the relationship between the friends becoming stronger. Essie never exhibited her bad character again, giving birth to a son. When he was a bit older, she went back to school and completed her education, finding a flexible job that allowed her to be a mom and a wife. They all lived in peace, leaving the past behind. Effie found love and tied the knot, and their family bond remained strong. The end. Some of the lessons to be learned from this story are: never bite the fingers that once fed you. Do not burn the bridge you once crossed. Do not repay kindness with evil. Always spread love and kindness, as you will eventually reap the rewards.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please click on the subscribe button to support us. Turn on the post notification to get notified when I upload a new story. Like, share, and comment your thoughts. Till then, bye.